Math is important. You use it in your everyday life. For example, calculating what time you'll be at a destination. It is very important that you continue and learning math. Math rocks. I love math.
Hey guys, let's go over question number 1A. We have standard form. A is -1, negative people, frown. B value is -4, and your C value is -2. Okay, which one has a C value or y-intercept? So that would only be choice C. You also know that because this is the only one that is opening down. These are up, and this is the only one that's down. And then on top of that, you could have done the vertex. Let's see what the vertex would have told you. B value is -4, A value is -1. So this becomes -2, so that's 2x equals -2. Okay. So that would only be choices C or A, but the other options, Y it's C, y-intercept, and the A value. So remember, average rate of change is a fancy word for slope. If you kind of just quickly did a simple graph, this is, and just X, let's just say your graph looks like this. What you're trying to find there is between 1 and 5, say this point, and let's just say this is 5. Let's say this point. Basically, you're finding the slope of the blue line. So you can evaluate separately. Which basically means this is your x1, this is your x2. So they're not, it's not a order pair there, nor is an interval. It's not an order pair, it's an interval. So f of x1 value I'm just going to take and repeat it because we're going to do that for your next one. Whoops. Let's see. That didn't work. All right. So my x1 value is 1. And then we're just going to simplify here. 1 squared is 1. 1 times 4 is 4. I'm using PEMDAS here. And you'll get 1 comma 7. All right, let's go ahead and do now the x2 value. And x2 value is 5. So 5 squared is 25. 3 times 5 is 15. That's 100 plus 15. So f of 5 equals 115. And that is the order pair 5 comma 115. And now we're going to use our slope or average rate of change. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. This is x1, y1, x2, y2. And don't forget it has a minus sign. Use substitution with parentheses. So y2 value is 115 minus 7. x2 value is 5 minus 1. So this will give us 108 over 4. 4 goes into 10 2 times. 8 to 8, 28 divided by 4 is 7. So my answer for slope is 27. The average rate of change is 27. Question number 3, complete the table of values for this problem here. And you can just evaluate. I'll just do it one time and then you can use Desmos. Negative 3 squared plus negative 3 minus 3. So that'd be 9 minus 3 minus 3. So that would give us 3. So when I put in negative 3, my output is 3. Put that into Desmos. Let me put in the function. Y equals x squared plus x minus 3. And then I click on the gear and then I want a table of values. So those are the numbers that I want to fill out. Take a picture of those. Or just write it down. Negative 2, negative 1, negative 1, negative 3, 0, negative 3, 1, negative 1, 2, 3. And if you want other values that are on there, for example, minus 3, you can just type it in and you'll get a value. Let's just say I wanted positive 3. It'll get the answer for you, 9. Okay, let's go back. So negative 3, 3, negative 2, negative 1, negative 3, 0, negative 3, 1, negative 1, 2, 3, and 3, 9. And that makes sense because if you graphed it, left 3, up 3, left 2, down negative 1, negative 1, negative 3, 0, negative 3, right 1, down negative 1, right 2, up 3, and then 3, 9, which is off the graph. Multiple choice, use the graph to find all the solutions. So the solutions are going to be where it crosses the x-axis. Okay, so those are the ordered pairs. Now we need to find one pair of consecutive integers. Consecutive just means next to integers, like negative 3, negative 2 are. And we need to figure out where the roots are. Well, the roots are here and here. So let's just change this one to blue. This is negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 2. Over here in yellow, this is 1 and 2. So it's between 1 and 2 and negative 3, negative 2. That would be choice A. Let's go on to this next problem. Number 4, we need to simplify this one. So the temptation, let's write that, don't do, is to do something like this. And then negative times negatives is a positive, so you do 25 times 81, and then you multiply those and you would solve that. So don't do that. You want to evaluate these separately, so square root of negative 1 times 25 times square root of negative 1 times 81. A fact you need to know is I is equal to the square root of negative 1. So that's going to become here and here. Square root of 25 is 5, square root of 81 is 9. And then if you square this, you get I squared equals negative 1. So I times I is I squared, and I squared is negative 1. 4 times 5 is 45. So your answer is going to be negative 45. What is one of the solutions? I'm going to show you guys how to do this one by factoring. You can also use this by quadratic formula, the longest, and then number 3, which would be square root method, which is probably the fastest. I'll go longest to slowest. So x equals negative b, so x squared plus 0x plus 16. So your b value is 0. If you chose this by factoring, same thing. A times c is 16, my b value is 0. We haven't really done this, but it is possible. Two numbers that multiply to be 16 and add to be 0, so that would be 4i and negative 4i. Negative times a positive is negative. So negative 4 times 4 is 16, and I times I is I squared. So that becomes positive 16. So you would get x plus 4i, x minus 4i, set those equal to 0, and solve. Same thing on that side, you'll get negative positive. The easiest method is just using x squared plus 16 equals 0. The square root method or square root property is only when you have a and c. Subtract 16 from both sides. Take the square root. When you take the square root, your next step is going to be plus or minus. These cancel. X equals plus or minus 4i. And that'll be your two choices there. Okay, with the 3 different methods of factoring, quadratic formula, or the square root method, you'll notice that our answer would have to be b, negative 4i. Question number 6, which of the following expressions is the factored form of x squared plus 25? So let me show you a couple of ways of solving this one. You can do this by factoring. X squared plus 0x plus 25. Your a value is 1, b is 0, c is 25. Do not make the mistake that c value or your b value is not 25. A times c is 25, your b value is 0. Your answer is going to be negative 5i and positive 5i. Because if you multiply those two, you will get negative 25i squared, and I squared is equal to negative 1. So that will give you a positive 25. So that would be choice C. You'll notice that you are basically just putting in here in red negative 5i and positive 5i. Well, let me take that back. The formula would be a minus, and then you put negative 5i and a positive 5i. That one will become positive. Now, another way of getting that is just doing the square root method. Subtract 25 from both sides. Take the square root, plus or minus, x squared equals 5i. Whoops, that's not there. And you're going to do the same thing. You'll put it here and put it here. Okay, let's solve the quadratic equation. A, B, C. A times C is negative 20. My B value is 8. Writing out all the factors that multiply to be 10. And I'm going to do 10 times negative 2 is negative 20. 10 minus 2 is 8. Set each of those equal to 0. X equals negative 10 and x equals 2. So that'll be choice B.
All right, question number A is find the domain. Domain. And then the range, you're going to go from the bottom to the top. Negative infinity to positive infinity for the domain. Negative infinity to positive First thing you're touching is an arrow, not because it's pointing up, because on the left side that would be negative infinity. Arrow again, that would be positive infinity, that would be equals 2. And then for the range, you move my pen, moves here, and it'll start here at 5 on the y-axis range, and then goes to infinity, so that would be today's F. Okay, number question number 9, we're going to solve 2x squared minus 5x 3. I'm going to add 3 to both sides, so I get 2x squared minus 5x plus 3 equals 0. We're solving by factoring, so 0. Identify the coefficients in standard form. A is 2, B is negative 5, and C is 3. I'm going to do my x and my box. So I have A times C is 6, B value is negative 5, negative 2 and negative 3. They multiply to be 6 and add to be negative 5. Those are going to go on the bottom left, top right, add the x there. First term goes on the top left, 2x squared, this is a 3. Two numbers that multiply to be 2x squared are going to be 1 times 2. Let's just put 2 times 2 or x times x being. Think ahead, so x times negative 3 is negative 3x, 2x times negative 1 is negative 2x, and negative 1 times negative 3. Then there in red is my answers for factoring. So that's factored. And then now we're going to set each of those equal to 0, so here, 2x equals 3 divided by 2, x equals 3 halves, and x equals 1. 2 real solutions.
That's all for today, Rebels. Have a mathematical Monday.